Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks and analysis for Week 11 of the 2016 NFL season. Well, anyway, people, the first game I'm going to talk about, Carolina is at home against the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to take the Saints on the road to beat Carolina. The Saints right now, I understand they came off a very tough loss, a very bizarre ending at the hands of the Denver Broncos, but the Denver Broncos are the defending champions, Super Bowl champions, and New Orleans could have very easily won that game. They had been playing well in recent weeks prior to that, including a win at home against the Seattle Seahawks. Carolina right now, where they'd have some things going for them, despite not playing that well. They're number 2 in rushing yards allowed per game, so Drew Brees of the Saints is going to have to throw it out and pass it a lot, which he does very well anyway. Also, Carolina is number 25 in passing yards allowed per game, about 273. So, and also the defense, just in general, I think Carolina's given up like 25 points or somewhere near there. And the Saints right now, it's just the fact that they're playing a little bit better than Carolina, and their offense seems to be better than Carolina's right now. And I like the Saints to win this one on the road. Now, the next game, I want to take the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road to defeat the Cleveland Browns. Pittsburgh has actually lost 4 consecutive games. I mean, it'd be very hard-pressed for me to have seen this at the beginning of the season, but I know Roethlisberger was injured early on, and he's been back the last 2 games. He played decent against Dallas, but Dallas has just been on such a tremendous roll. Pittsburgh has dominated the series against the Browns, has won 6 of 7 against Cleveland. Cleveland has lost 24 of 25, counting this year's preseason action. They do have something good going for them, that Christian Kirksey is number 1 in the NFL in tackles, and they may be doing a lot of it in this game. Cleveland also is allowing nearly 144 rushing yards per game. So for Pittsburgh, Le'Veon Bell could have a massive game in this one. I expect him to get at least 100 yards rushing, and I expect the Steelers to win. So I like the Steelers on the road in this one. Next game, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to win at home over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Detroit, being in first place right now, that would not have seemed conceivable at the beginning of the season. Right now, though, based on, it looks like a decline of the Packers right now, and the Vikings have not been playing well. Now, Detroit is 3-1 at home. They have won 4 or 5, coming off the bye week, rested. Jacksonville, on the other hand, in contrast, is 1-3 on the road. They're minus 14 in turnover differential. Now, and they've also lost 4 consecutive games. Allen Robinson played well, their wide receiver on the team last week, but they're going to need more than him in this game. They have any chance of winning. I like Detroit at home, just playing much better right now and being at home. Great home, very good home record. And Jacksonville is struggling right now, so I like Detroit to win at home. Now, next game, I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts at home over the Tennessee Titans. Indianapolis has speaking of domination, they've dominated the Tennessee Titans in recent time. They've won 10 consecutive games against Tennessee, and they've taken 15 of the last 16 against them. However, Indianapolis only has 3 defensive interceptions, and right now the defense has really been abhorrent. They're allowing 28 plus points per game right now. And in their rush defense, they're number 22 in the NFL in terms of rushing yards allowed per game. That could be good news for the Titans with DeMarco Murray. I would expect him to have a fairly decent game in this one. Tennessee has surreptitiously also climbed to the number 2 spot in the NFL in total offense. Tennessee is vastly improved this season. But they are on the road. They're averaging over 26 points per game, so the offense is much better now than it was last season. They do have a reasonable chance to win this one, but I do like the fact that the Colts have seemed to have Tennessee's number, coupled with the fact they are at home. I do like the Colts to win this one. Next game, I want to take the Cincinnati Bengals at home to defeat the Buffalo Bills. Cincinnati is 2-1-1 at home. Despite their struggles, they have a decent home record right now. And when you have Andy Dalton and A.J. Green, I mean, you always have a shot to win. A.J. Green is number 2 in receiving yards in the NFL right now. Buffalo. Right now, surprisingly, they have 30 sacks right now on the team, and Zach Brown is right now one of the leaders in tackles in the NFL. They're also number 2 in rushing yards per game, but they're leading the NFL in most rushing fumbles. So really, they got that propensity to fumble that ball. Maybe Cincinnati will capitalize on it. Cincinnati right now, being at home, they just came off a tough road loss against the Giants. They could have easily won, I felt. But Buffalo right now, I just don't see them going in and beating Cincinnati. It's just going to be a tough road win for them to try to get, and I don't think it happens. I like Cincinnati at home. Now, the next game, I like the Kansas City Chiefs to win at home over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, Kansas City has been on a rampage. They are playing exceptional football right now. They've won 5 consecutive games, and right now they have 13 defensive interceptions as well. In that 5-game winning streak, they've only allowed about 15 points per game against them. So, excuse me, people. You look at Tampa Bay, I mean, they got their swagger. They defeated the Chicago Bears. I understand that. But right now, I mean, they're 3-1 on the road. They really have a reasonable chance to win this game. Wide receiver Mike Evans has played very well. But keep in mind that this is a team that is 1-5 in their last 6 out of conference games. I think it's going to be 1-6 in the last 7 after this one. I like Kansas City just playing too well, and they are at home, and I like Kansas City to win at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the New York Giants to win at home over the Chicago Bears. Now, the Giants have won 4 straight. Landon Collins has been a beast. He's really played an integral role in their success, I believe. And the Giants, I mean, they held the Bengals last week to 0 points in around the last 24 minutes or so. And they actually developed a running game. So that's a good sign for the team. There's been some analysts have been talking on TV saying, well, the Giants are not really a great team. They're really they're basically intimating their record's a little bit deceptive. Well, all I know is this: a win's a win. I know their wins haven't come by many points, but they are playing very well. And in case some of you have forgotten, they also gave the Cowboys their only loss this season. So, that being said, oh man, excuse me again, people. That being said, the Giants, you look at Chicago, and Chicago's going in the other direction right now. Chicago is 0-5 on the road this season. The Giants are at home. Quarterback Jay Cutler for Chicago, he's too sporadic and erratic. You don't know who's going to show up. They're only averaging about 16 points per game, Chicago. I like the Giants to win at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals to win on the road over the Minnesota Vikings. Arizona, I mean, right now, they're not playing great, but they're playing better than Minnesota. They're number 2 in passing yards allowed per game, about 195, led by cornerback Marcus Cooper. Now, Minnesota, I mean, they came close to winning last week. They looked like they played a little bit better. But right now, they have lost 4 in a row, number 32 in total offense, and they're dead last in the NFL in rushing yards per game. the loss of Adrian Peterson has obviously been to their detriment, and just very strongly. And right now, I just have to go with Arizona just based on how they're playing in contrast to Minnesota. Man. Now, I'm going to take Miami to win on the road over the Los Angeles Rams. Now, Miami, right now, I mean, speaking of teams on a rampage, they are on a rampage big time. They've won 4 consecutive games, and running back Jay Ajayi, I mean, he has averaged 152 yards rushing per game in that streak. And the Miami Dolphins are 6th in the NFL in rushing yards per game. Now, you look at the Rams are just really not playing well. I mean, they beat my Jets last week 9-6, but they only put up 9 points. When the Rams win, it seems like they don't really put up many points in their games, generally speaking. Right now, they're also only averaging 15.4 points per game. Todd Gurley, the best of my knowledge, I don't think he's had a 100-yard rushing game this season. And right now, the defense for the Rams, you don't know who's going to show up. The defense is sporadic. I do like Miami to win this one on the road and keep their hot streak going and have 5 consecutive wins after this game. Now, the next game. I want to take the New England Patriots on the road to defeat the San Francisco 49ers. Last time I checked, Patriots generally don't lose consecutive football games, and they just have an aversion to losing consecutive games. New England actually has been a great road team this year. They are 4-0 on the road. They actually got 2 losses at home this week, which is this season, I should say, which is uncharacteristic for that team. Now, San Francisco, they've lost 8 in a row. They're dead last in the NFL in rushing yards allowed per game. They've allowed about 180 yards rushing per game. Quarterback Colin Kaepernick, he's doing whatever he could do, but he is just not really getting much of a supporting cast from the team. I like New England to win on the road. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks to win at home over the Philadelphia Eagles. I know, don't be flabbergasted or be in a state of shock, people. Seattle right now is number 2 in scoring defense. They came off a very good win against the Patriots. They hadn't looked that impressive to me prior to that game, but it seems like maybe Seattle's just kind of playing to the level of the competition. Maybe they were a little complacent in some of those games. I think it's taken a while for quarterback Russell Wilson to find his groove, but it looks like he's doing it now. Seattle's 4-0 at home. In Philadelphia right now, they're just 1-4 on the road. They're starting to plummet to earth. They got off to a fantastic 3-0 start, but they're 2-4 in their last 6 games. And going on the road against a Seattle team that's playing well, it's just hard-pressed for me to see any scenario that they could pull out this one. I like Seattle at home. Now, I'm going to take the Washington Redskins at home to defeat the Green Bay Packers. Washington right now 3-2 at home, 5-1-1 in their last 7. They got up to a slow start. They started out at 0-2 this season. They looked like they were really, even though it was only 2 games, it looked like I was starting to think, well, last season must have been a mirage. They're not going to play to that level this season, but they turned it around, and quarterback Kirk Cousins is playing very well for them. Green Bay right now, I don't quite understand what's happened with them. They've lost 3 straight. They're 1-3 on the road. They allowed 162 rushing yards to the Tennessee Titans last week, and Tennessee scored 47 points on them. I mean, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers could say RELAX if he wants, but it's going to take more than that, because Green Bay, it really looks like they could be in serious trouble. I like Washington to win this one at home. Now, I'm going to take the Oakland Raiders to win at home over the Houston Texans. Oakland, I mean, they've really validated they are for real. This team, I mean, as far as their offense goes, especially, I mean, their running game is great. They're averaging about 27 points per game. The combination of David Carr, Amari Cooper, and you have Michael Crabtree, another great receiver on that team. And, I mean, You look at Houston, they're 1-3 on the road, and they're 26 in rushing yards allowed per game, while Oakland is 4th in rushing yards per game. So you could do the math right there. And I think what's going to happen is I think when Oakland plays Houston, they are going to dominate that line of scrimmage when they're on offense. I think it's going to be right where, as far as their running game goes, I think the running game will be exceptional in this game, and it will be enough to help propel them to victory. So I like Oakland to win at home. Now, last but not least, I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to win at home over the Baltimore Ravens. What makes this interesting, okay, if you just glance at it, say the Cowboys are playing the Ravens, well, the Cowboys should win very decisively. Well, not necessarily. I mean, Cowboys are on a roll. They've won 8 consecutive games. I mean, running back Ezekiel Elliott is a beast. He has over 1,000 yards already. Right now, though, you look at Baltimore, though. They are actually number 1 in rushing yards allowed per game. And right now, and they're number 1 in total defense as well. Surprisingly, they just kind of their defense can very well keep them in this game. But given that Dallas, the way they're playing now, and they are at home, Dallas also is 3-0 in out-of-conference games this season. I mean, Baltimore may actually give them a battle in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if it is competitive, because Baltimore, as I say jokingly, the ravenous defense will play well, but their defense is playing very well this season, and it will keep it close. But I still like Dallas to win this one at home. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment for my 2016 Week 11 NFL predictions. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.